everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. I am back today with a body image slash body confidence maybe Q&A, and I put out one of those sticker things on Instagram and asked you guys to ask me questions, and you all asked some really good questions and very kind of profound questions. So I'm going to just jump right into it and read them to you. I won't mention people's names in case you don't want me to. But one of the first questions is, what's your view on skinny shaming? I hate the whole curvy equals real woman thing. I hate it as well. I think that shaming of any sort is just ridiculous, and I know people who have been made to feel inadequate because they're too skinny, and I think that's just equally wrong and equally horrendous. I do know people who say that it's not the same, but I do think it's the same. I think if it's an insecurity, it's an insecurity regardless, and we shouldn't be shaming anybody for anything like that, because it's frankly none of our business what someone else looks like. Someone else asked, what's your biggest food weakness? My biggest food weakness, crisps. Crisps is my biggest food weakness. I love crisps so much. Carbs in general are just my thing. Then another question is, do you ever binge eat? Absolutely. Total emotional eater, and I kind of can punish or treat myself with food, and it's something that I'm trying to work on kind of being better at. Then someone put, what part of your body are you most confident about? It's not part of my, well, it is part of my body I suppose. Sorry, my nose is like really itchy. It is part of my body I suppose. Can I say my hair? I've always liked my hair and I always get compliments on my hair. Other than that, my waist, I've got quite a small waist. Even now when I'm much bigger, my waist is still quite small, so I think that that's quite a good thing. Then someone asked, do you ever worry you could fall into anorexia or bulimia? Absolutely, because I've been there before. I wouldn't say that I was either of them, but I did have like areas where I would dabble with trying to make myself be sick, but I could never do it because I'm not very good at being sick when I was much younger, and also just not eating, like absolutely starving myself, and I could get so skinny like that. I never like, you know, was anorexic or looked like I had a problem, but I was very thin because I would just not eat. So yeah. Does dieting slash weight affect your social life? It does, in that I say no to things quite often because I'm trying so hard. I don't want to be put in a situation where I have to eat something out that's not the healthiest. So I say no to things, and I do feel like I'm missing out sometimes when I can't just let go and enjoy things, but I know that it's not forever, and that when I'm at goal weight I can kind of relax a little bit, still keep on top of things, because obviously I don't want to get back to being how I am now, but you know. How to feel comfortable going to a spa with other women when feeling overweight? That's a very tricky one. I think that what you have to just remind yourself is that they've probably got their own insecurities and they're probably not even looking at you. But it is hard, so try and find something to wear that makes you feel confident. Make sure you're kind of as groomed as possible, because that makes me feel confident. And just try to not look at other women and compare yourself. But it's hard. I feel you on that one. How much does having a different body type to your sisters cause you to feel negatively about your body? A lot. Really a lot. It never used to, because they were all younger back then, so you couldn't really compare, but now we're all getting older, you can compare it. And I'm just going to have a swig of my tea. It's mug, by the way, in case you're wondering, it's from Primark and I love it. It does make me feel very negatively about my body. It makes me feel angry and like I've been shortchanged, that I'm the only one that has to worry about my weight and they don't. They can eat whatever they want. Like one of them literally is like so skinny, and she just eats whatever she wants, and she loves food and she doesn't even have to worry about it. And that's not me, and I wish it was me, because I wish I didn't have this worry. But we've got very, very different body types. Even if I can get down to the lowest weight that I can get down to, my body's still kind of softer. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily curvier, because when I'm a lot slimmer, I don't have massive boobs or like curves in that kind of element. I've got sort of a slim waist, but it's just a softer kind of body, and it's a body that needs a lot more maintaining than somebody who's just very naturally slim. So it does make me feel a bit like I've been shortchanged. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. Do you ever get depressed from dieting? Not from dieting itself. There's something about it that I do quite like, but what I can get depressed about is if it's not working quick enough, and I can get depressed of why can't I just kind of eat healthily and lose weight that way? Why do I have to kind of pretty much really, really restrict what I eat in order to lose weight? That kind of bums me out a little bit. Then another question is, does weight affect your relationship? Yeah, it does. It does. I'm lucky in a sense of that my boyfriend has never kind of made me feel like it's a problem, but when we're having kind of an open and honest conversation about it, obviously he would prefer me to be slimmer and would prefer me to be happier and more confident, which goes with that. And I think sometimes it's one of those things where people say, like, you know, oh, people just have to accept you for who you are, which is correct, but that doesn't mean that you don't love the person. But what you're attracted to, I think, can kind of, people don't give that enough credit when it is important. So I definitely do try to not let it get in the way of like feeling confident and that kind of thing in my relationship, but it is hard, and I do sometimes feel a bit sorry for him in that, you know, I didn't look like this when we started going out, but that's my insecurities. It's not because he's ever kind of said anything or made me feel like that. It's my own insecurities, and because you don't feel your best, then you kind of can compare yourself, and that element of it is a bit tricky. Do you think you'd ever be able to accept yourself even if you don't reach your goal weight? No. No. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. No. I'd be okay and I'd get on with my life, but I would always not feel my best, and no, because it affects so many things. I don't enjoy clothes as much at a bigger size. And it's so individual, because so many people do, and so many people look so great and just kind of don't let it hinder them. And I wish that I could be like that, but I'm not. It matters to me, and I can't help that. Have you ever avoided social situations, pool parties, beach trips, due to self-esteem issues? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Put it this way, I would not be going to any pool party or beach party right now, and even when I've been the skinniest I've ever been, it's been like a pep talk about getting into a bikini, because I struggle. Trying to be grateful for what I do have rather than focus on what I don't. Difficult. Any tips? You said it right there, really. Focusing on what you do have. So pointing out the good points and saying, you know, like, but I still look pretty, I still look nice, blah, 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 blah. And celebrating when you've done something right, and trying to put, what I find very useful is trying to put value on things that are not physical attributes, so not weight related, nothing that's like to do with how I look, trying to kind of tell myself that, oh, that was good how you dealt with that situation, or that kind of thing. And also obviously telling yourself that it can always be worse, although I do think that sometimes that's not a very helpful thing to say. But like my mum always says that, she's always like, oh, it could be worse, and I'm just like, I'm aware of that, but that's not helpful right this minute. Yeah, I don't have another answer for that, really. Then last question, let's do tips for feeling positive about getting older. That is a tricky one. I don't think I'm at a stage yet where it started to kind of properly sink in and started to started to kind of affect me in that way. But what has been interesting is, like, for example, recently I was talking to this friend of mine who I hadn't seen for a little while, who I always thought was just like a little bit older than me, but I hadn't kind of thought about it too much. And then realised that this friend was going to be 28 in November. She was a little bit older than me, but you know. And I was just like, oh God, that's like really grown up kind of thing. And then even just like silly things, when you look around you and you realise that kind of everyone is getting older, it's more kind of with feeling, I don't feel like a grown up. I still feel like I'm an imposter. And I don't think that apparently ever really goes away. But in terms of physically getting older, I'm not at that stage yet where I think it started to affect me. Obviously I am aging. I'm, you know, closer to 30 than I am to 20, and I'm not crazy about it. It does make me feel a little bit anxious. But anti-aging and that kind of thing is so subjective that it's not something that I've really started to kind of worry about right now. But I do know that when it does come, I will really, really worry about it. And maybe I'll have a little bit of Botox and things, because I just, I think I'll be one of those people that always wants to look as young as I possibly can. Which I also think that kind of carrying a bit of extra weight makes me look a bit older than I am, which I'm not crazy about. So we'll see. But at the end of the day, like, it is a privilege getting older, isn't it? Like, the alternative is being dead. So, like, I know which I'd rather, but it is a hard one, because it's not one of those things where suddenly it happens overnight, but it kind of does, in the sense of, like, you'll look in the mirror and you'll think, that little line just there, I swear that never used to be there. Where's that come from? Little things like that, and it can be a bit annoying. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want me to do another one of these, leave me any questions that you've got down below, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on any of these topics. I love reading your comments about these kinds of topics, because I just think you're all so insightful and clever. And I really, really enjoy hearing from you. So yeah, please comment down below, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.